The walls. I kicked the walls of my mother's womb eagerly, the silence in there, a cold roommate. I kick the white walls of my mother's house with muddy sneakers, the silence in here, a void that only my mother's yell can fill. I kick the walls of my house until they are streaked with blood. The silence in here, a haunting reminder of my mother's absence. I lay my head on my mother's tomb, longing for the silence in there, a sweet honey my ears crave to taste. So this is a sonnet.
Yes.
And a sonnet is a 14-line poem which is about love that dies or love that turns sour.
Why did you choose poetry?
I got in touch with a poet. They coached me for several years actually and taught me how to perform, taught me how to write. I've been writing for 4 or 5 years.
There is a book called Cleithrophobia. Gareth, why did you choose this title?
I chose Cleithrophobia because first of all, Cleithrophobia means the fear of being trapped. So in every poem, there is someone who is trapped and they're trying to get out.
I've also seen some of your work on social media where you go to schools.
Yeah, Luwafu Enterprises, we normally reach out to schools to share poetry, talk about poetry. We have to get people interested in writing.
Welcome to the Author's Mind. My name is Jenny, and with me in the studio today is an amazing man. He's called Gareth Ezra. You're welcome to the show, Gareth.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
Please tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Ntungwerisho Gareth Ezra. I'm a writer, a poet, an actor, and I do adjudicating. Sometimes I adjudicate these teen poetry slams here and there. Yeah, I've been writing for 4 or 5 years, and it's something that I do to communicate what I'm feeling, to communicate the things I see. I kind of see myself as a storyteller of sorts.
So what do you do apart from writing?
Like I said, I act, I write scripts.
Okay.
Though soon, by God's grace, will be put in production. And I adjudicate from time to time, like someone can call me, we have a slam, can you please judge? So that's what I do. And yeah, that's what I've been doing most of the time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. Gareth here, by the way, has amazing books. There is a book called Cleithrophobia. It's a combination of amazing poems. He's a very good writer. Gareth, why did you choose this title?
I chose Cleithrophobia because, first of all, Cleithrophobia means the fear of being trapped.
Okay.
So in every poem, there is someone who is trapped and they're trying to get out. And in our lives, most of the time, we have these situations which we don't even know are trapped. Like I can say, like it's like an abusive relationship, you know? The abused person sometimes doesn't know they're abused.
Yes.
But they're there and the signs are there. So it's that thing of you're trapped in a situation and you might not know you're there, or you know but you want to escape but you can't. So that was the whole essence of the book, to write these poems where there are these people trying to get out, they're struggling to get out. That's why the cover is like that.
Okay.
And yeah, that's why I chose.
I also noticed you have a very interesting cover. Could you maybe explain? Okay, I know you've already told us about the title, but why did you choose such a...
So I remember I was working with the artist. The artist is a friend of mine.
Yes.
It's called Darren Akoraje, who I met through my sister. So she does line art, most of the work. If you see her Instagram, Akoraje Creates.
Yes.
And Darren Akoraje, you'll be seeing her work. And she's a really talented artist. And I remember I was working with her, and she came up with a sketch, and there were these ropes and what. And I like the idea of ropes, the idea of being restrained. I didn't want to use a cage because there is space in the cage. I wanted something to feel so claustrophobic. In fact, I wanted the whole image to be all over the book.
Yes.
But us at Luwafu, we have a look for the books. That's why we have the white.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted the reader to feel uncomfortable the moment they hold the book.
Wow.
That's why I asked her to put as many ropes and as many hands as possible, so that the reader feels that fear. They have that fear of like, I'm tied.
Wow.
I'm being tied down.
Actually, when I look at the picture, I can feel a bit suffocated.
That was intentional. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So, people do writing a lot. Why did you choose poetry?
Well, I'm going to give a long story. When my mom passed in 2018,
Yes.
August. And I used to listen to a lot of rap. I used to listen to J. Cole and what. I still listen to J. Cole and stuff.
Yeah.
So I used to have a book in class. I was in Budo, King's College Budo. So I'd be writing during lessons. I'd just be writing my feelings in like rhyming kind of way.
Yeah.
So my cousin told me, why don't you start poetry? I'm like, it's just too much literature and what. Then I said, you know what? Why don't I give it a try? So I got in touch with a poet. They coached me for several years actually, and taught me how to perform, taught me how to write. In fact, the first poem I wrote, the guy told me it sounded like a rap song. But ever since then, I've been trying to work on my writing. I used to perform so much in those early years, but I decided to focus on my craft of writing, because at the end of the day, when you stop performing, what else are you going to have behind? People need to have something to remember you by.
Yes.
So I've been writing for 4 years, and I started writing recently, like seriously, in 2021, 2022. That's when I can say that I really started writing.
Oh, so you've been writing for about like 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh. So I was reading this book and I found some really interesting poems. Could you help us explain maybe this poem titled The Walls?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I normally like to read, because we always do readings, yeah?
Yes.
I normally like to read, then I give the view. So it's called The Walls.
Yes.
The walls. I kicked the walls of my mother's womb eagerly. The silence in there, a cold roommate. I kick the white walls of my mother's house with muddy sneakers. The silence in here, a void that only my mother's yell can fill. I kick the walls of my house until they are streaked with blood. The silence in here, a haunting reminder of my mother's absence. I lay my head on my mother's tomb, longing for the silence in there. A sweet honey my ears crave to taste.
Wow.
So this is a sonnet.
Yes.
And a sonnet is a 14-line poem which is about love that dies, or love that turns sour. So this is particularly an American sonnet.
Okay.
So I have to go into the science of sonnets now.
Yes.
A sonnet, there are like 3 types. There's an Italian sonnet, English sonnet, and American sonnet. So if you know Shakespeare and To Be or Not to Be, blah, 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 Romeo and Juliet. Actually, there's a scene in Romeo and Juliet where they're talking in sonnets.
Okay.
So for them, the sonnet has a particular rhyme pattern. Yeah. So in that rhyme pattern, at the end of the poem, so we have 14 lines, and each verse is 5/5.
Yes.
5 lines of the 2 verses. In the second, it's called a couplet. 2 lines. Has to have a plot twist. There is a plot twist. Like, let's say that poem is about this guy who really loved this girl. The girl said, like, I love you till the day maybe over this ring falls off my finger. Then in the last lines, the ring is still on, but the girl left him for another person. The twist. Something unexpected.
It's like the plot twist.
Yes, that is basically what. And that plot twist is called a volta.
Oh.
Yeah. So every sonnet has to have a plot twist.
Yes.
So it's in this poem, the person is actually trying to chase their mother, is trying to escape their mother's walls, trying to escape the confines of the relationship with the mother until the end where the mother's gone and they want to go back to the mother. So why I wrote this is because my mom, as she was still alive, it was my Form 3, Form 4. She wanted me to open up about certain things which I couldn't open up about. And, you're this moody teenager who doesn't want to talk about stuff. So I kind of pushed her away.
Yes.
And then she passed. And when she passed, I remember thinking, I wish I hadn't pushed her away. I wish I had told her what was going on, because school was stressing me. I was not understanding things that were happening at school. But I felt like she wouldn't understand.
Is this poem okay? Because you've written these other poems also in this same book. Are the other poems also from a personal experience?
Yeah, things I've seen, things I've felt, and sometimes just things I thought about.
Okay, so some are fiction though.
Yeah, there's an element of truth to the fiction. Because whenever we're writing a poem in the group, like Luwafu Enterprises, we always try and suggest things that might be more dramatic. Yeah.
You've been writing for about 5 years. Who are your favorite authors?
Davis the poet is the creative director of Luwafu Road Press. And Luwafu Road Press, we focus on writing, like craft, and we think about the poems we write a lot.
Yes.
So a lot of my favorite Ugandan poets are in our group because I've seen them grow, I've seen their work. It's really beautiful. Davis has really beautiful work. He knows how to write a really good image.
Wow.
And he writes about things of national importance, people would say. Yeah. And he does it so cleverly. You can't even tell that he's writing about these things.
Those are the poets I like.
Yeah. And he also, he taught me about sonnets, and he has really taught me about all these poetry things. I know there's Jason Intaro.
Yes.
He's a good poet, a very good performer. It's really good. I don't think anyone performs like him in here. It's actually one of the best.
I should check
there
out
is
his work.
Angel is good as well.
Angel is good.
There is Wake. Actually, Wake was one of the first poets I used to look up to. Yeah, he has really catchy poems. Yeah.
Okay.
And you said we're talking about Uganda, so I'll be talking about Uganda.
Are kind of bringing it back to Uganda. So among those authors you've mentioned, are any of them maybe your mentors?
Davis,
huh?
Davis the poet is my mentor.
Okay.
Yeah. And also another person who's not a poet but is really good, and what he talks about really applies to what we do, is Lloyd Lutara, because poetry is all about form and it's about structure, and Lloyd is someone who really understands structure in his writing. Even his plays, they have good structure. The way they flow, it's just like, when you realize how he did it, it's just genius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years,
especially Uganda wise, in terms of writing?
10 years from now is crazy. But I hope 10 years from now I should have I should have more books, and maybe a book that doesn't stop here in this country, a book that is out there, probably in the hands of one of the people I look up to.
Yes.
Outside the country. See myself writing, producing a lot more, the scripts I write, acting a bit more, but I really just want to have a book which becomes a household thing. Like, how there's God Papitekan.
Yes.
Song of Lawino. And
yes.
there is like Kagai and his book, The Headline That Morning. I want to have a book like that.
Those are classics.
Yeah.
Those are classics.
Something.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason I wrote this book is because I felt like young people or young poets didn't have someone young who wrote poems which were like very, very, very good, and which I wanted to show them that you don't have to write about very big things to write beautiful work, to write work that stands. And that's why I really wrote this book, so kids like in high schools could have something. People who have lost their parents, people who feel, because as teenagers you feel very restricted by these things. I wanted to write it for such people and show them that poetry can be simple and beautiful.
I feel like poetry is a bit therapeutic writing. Because you're expressing yourself in the simplest words.
Yes, in fact it's like using the least words and the simplest to say the most things.
Wow, that's amazing. So in your 5-year experience, how do you see the state of writing in Uganda?
Okay, it has grown. The people who are, I'd say, legends, they tell us that we are not as hardworking as they were. But we have writers now who are writing things that are like outside the box.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if the market is ready for some of these things. Because I feel like as Ugandans we're used to certain stories. Some of the stories about family, but I feel like the general audience will need to expand their palette, because these young people have so many ideas. We have a lot of great writers, we have so many good novelists and short story writers, and we have great poets who are great performers. And now there are all these platforms like the Kampala Writes Fest, like Kampala International Theatre Festival. There are opportunities of mentorship where they are teaching artists to develop their craft. So the state of writing has improved. In my opinion, though, we just need to expand our palette.
I feel like many Ugandans still don't appreciate writing as much. It's a very important skill to have. And reading and writing, of course, go hand in hand. If you're not reading, at least you should be writing. And it does not limit you professionally. So
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Writing is actually, it can make you money.
Yeah.
Because people need stories. Marketing, you need a story. Film, you need a story. Even a business pitch, you have to have some kind of backstory, a reason as to why. So as long as storytelling is alive, writing is alive.
Yeah, and I feel like we've not yet appreciated the art of writing, because we think we cannot commercialize it. Remember, most of us are looking for money and the hustle, so we are not really going to that place where we can make money out of this. We're not seeing it as a commercial thing. So what would you tell a young person, someone younger than you or your younger self?
I would tell them to read, write. And sometimes as writers we think that we can't write because we don't have like trauma or something that has happened to us to write about, but there's always something to write about. There's something we do called free writing, where you just take 30 minutes in a day to just write whatever is in your heart, write whatever you're feeling, then turn it into something later on. So I'll just say, write as much as you can, read as much as you can, consume as much as you can. Don't just read poems if you're a poet. Read plays, read poems, watch movies, look at art, like get inspiration from different sources. And don't give up, and don't sell your soul because of money. Like, if your work is good, it will pay off. Let the work pay you.
Wow, that's amazing advice. Could you read us a poem of your choice, not from this book, any book? And you give us maybe a mini explanation of it.
Can I read from this other book I brought?
Yes, of course.
Cool. So we also have this book. It's called The Overthinker. Us as Luwafu Road Press, we came up with it 3 months. For 3 months we've been writing. Everyone had to bring five poems, and there's also a scene by Lloyd Lutara inside. And it's about a combination of different things. All these poets came with these different ideas, and the common theme was people overthinking things.
Yes.
So I'm going to read a book from my section, a poem from my section. And I think I'm going to choose, it's called Benvolios and Romeos.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a sonnet.
Okay.
And I've been writing a lot of sonnets recently. So have you read Romeo and Juliet?
Yes.
Yeah. So for those who have read Romeo and Juliet, they know there's Romeo and there's Benvolio.
Yes.
And Benvolio shows up in the first scenes, yeah? So to me, my understanding was Benvolio was this guy who knows that there are other girls out there, while Romeo is this guy who's fixated on one girl,
Juliet.
Yes. So Benvolio believes there are other Juliets. Romeo believes there is one. So the poem goes like this. And there's a backstory to it, which I'll tell afterwards.
Okay.
Benvolios and Romeos. At a quiz held at Bush Pig, Lewis and Dave down shots we won for coming in second place. Their eyes reddened by the burn of fake vodka in their systems. They speak to me with the same wisdom Benvolio had when talking to Romeo. That woman that you love, they say, she will leave, but there are others like her. Their voices bluer than Genie's skin in Aladdin. They drink the last shots, describing their former lovers, the way Romeo did when he first laid eyes on Juliet. Perhaps every Benvolio was a Romeo whose eyes were opened by the Volta in their lovers' actions.
Wow.
So I remember I was at Bush Pig with two of my friends, and they're telling me about how love is a scam and blah blah blah, that stuff. And kumbe me, I'm dating. Yeah. And they're like, man, even when I used to be like that, I used to be in love, but those things fade. And me, I thought about it because I had just read the book. I just read the book Romeo and Juliet. I'm like, man, this sounds like this scene. And it's like the guys are always heartbroken, or are always like players and what. Well, we used to be nice guys.
Yes.
Just that they were done dirty. So it was just that situation that I wanted to write about.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. It's so simple, but the words are so demanding of your attention. I like that.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. So, what a beautiful poem. Really, your poems are really amazing.
Thank you very much.
Any new projects you're working on that we should maybe check out?
Right now, most of the stuff is school.
Okay.
But this is the newest, the Overthinker, which goes up for 40K. And right now, we're working on a radio drama, which I wrote for class, but it was really good, and I wanted to produce it. So right now, we're working on it, and it's called Her Dying Wish. Probably might come in 2 months, might release it in 2 months, and it's about a father who is trying to make amends with his hard-hearted son after their mother has died. So it's like this thing of after the father does something bad to the family and leaves, how is the conversation like with the child after?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful perspective or way of seeing it.
Because most of the times we just hear the father left.
Yeah, true.
Talking
We never
about
hear his side of the story.
Exactly.
Oh, that's why I love writing. It always brings other versions of it, It's not only one perspective. There are different perspectives of things.
Because people do things for reasons.
Yeah.
There's something they tell us in our script writing class that everyone can do anything as long as they have the right reason to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in case I wanted a copy,
Of
where
my
could
books?
where could I get a copy from?
You can hit me up on Instagram at Ntungwerisho. _Gareth. And I think my Twitter is Gareth Ezra. I'm not so sure. Oh, you could always reach out to me. Jenny, you have my number. But yeah, mostly I'm the one who brings the books personally. Or you can hit up Luwafu Road Press on Instagram to get copies of The Overthinker and my book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gareth. Also, one more thing I wanted to find out. We are not only work based, we also want to understand people beyond work. So what do you do apart from writing when you're not writing or not studying?
Or acting or what?
Or acting, yeah.
I just be chilling.
Oh.
I can like watch a movie. I watch anime a lot.
Okay.
Do you watch anime?
No.
Yeah. I like watching animations. I like film. I like having like conversations, playing board games. I don't really like go out like the bar and what I used to, but I stopped. It's not my cup of tea anymore.
Yes, you outgrew it.
Not outgrew it. Just I realized it was never really my cup of tea. Like when I stopped going to drink, when I drink, when I realize where am I here. So yeah, but that's what I be doing most of the time. But a lot of my time is in these things that I do.
Okay.
So a little time that I do all those other things.
So what of your poetry? When do you do? Because I know poetry also has word spoken poetry. When do you?
Oh yeah, when do I perform? Most times I perform at open mics, and I think the last time I performed was called Shoot Your Shot. Okay. That show. Yes. You know Mickey the Poet?
Yes, I know Mickey the Poet.
I performed there. Yeah, I'll be performing in those spaces.
Oh, wow.
But I want to check out a lot more open mics.
Yeah, so we would love to also hear those open mics poetry, because I feel like poetry is better that version. Yeah, though also the books are very educative. I've also seen some of your work on social media where you go to schools.
Oh yes, we do.
Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, Luwafu Road Press, we normally reach out to schools to share poetry, talk about poetry.
Yes.
Because we don't only want to, like you said, we have to get people interested in writing.
Yes.
So we want to go to schools where like the grassroots and get them interested and show them that this is how we do poetry. This is how we could do poetry. It doesn't have to be the way we always think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a step-to-step procedure that you follow when you want to? I want to start writing. What step-to-step procedure can I follow for poetry writing?
For poetry, for someone who wants to get in. The problem is we don't really have training, like a camp that trains you. You need to first of all, you need to find a space. Like I'm lucky I found Luwafu Road Press, a space where people can mentor you in the right way, because some spaces are not so good.
Yeah.
You need to find a space, and you need to know like what's poetry all about, what makes a good poem. You need to read a lot of poets. So normally what they can tell you is like, get a poet you like. Doesn't have to be from Uganda, and follow their work, follow their life, and kind of emulate that in a way. I wish someone had told me that, because that's what a lot of writers do. You can find a Ugandan writer here and he's studying like, I don't know, Scorsese, or you guys studying like some other novelist and just following what they did and their process. They're trying to see if their process works for them. It's also finding what process works for you.
Yes.
So you get your mentor, you get your space, then you develop your process. How often do you write? What are you interested in? What kind of poems interest you? Then after you do all that, you can start thinking of performance.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sadly, we've come to the end of this amazing podcast. Gareth, thank you so much for sparing your time to come and give us this information. In case you have any comments for Gareth, please put them below. Like, subscribe, follow. My name is Jenny, and this is The Author's Mind.